In this lesson, we're going to take a look at how to arrange a beat into song structure mode. And there are three main things that you want to keep in mind. For one thing, using the markers allows you to have a song structure that you can use as a guideline or template. Secondly, working in the grid mode allows us to easily copy and paste or duplicate sections. And thirdly, we're going to take a look at muting clips versus deleting clips. So let me play this for you. It's a simple beat that's done at 86 beats per minute. And whenever you're working with music or you're making beats or rhythms and you stick to a click track, this is where it comes in handy on the arrangement section. So I'm going to zoom out. And the first thing we're going to do is put some markers so that we have a guideline of how we want to structure the song. I also want to see our minutes and seconds. And the first marker is going to be intro. We're going to make sure time property is set to marker and leave everything intact. Click OK. Good. So we're going to do a 4-bar intro. That means at bar number 5, we're going to create another marker and do a verse. We'll call it verse 1. And that's going to go for about 8 measures. Now, if you don't know, you can calculate between 5 to 8. It's going to be about 13, but, forget math for now. Just click and drag, and this tells you the length, 8 bars. Okay, good. So at 13, we're going to create another marker, and we'll just call it the chorus. And let's go ahead and click and drag this again. We're looking at our length here. Let's make the chorus 8 bars. There it is. So create another marker and call it verse 2. Okay, let's switch over and scroll 8 bars again. And you can kind of see the method here. Chorus. Now this chorus is going to be twice as long. So we're going to make it 16 bars. There you go. Click markers. And we'll call that end. So we'll end around there. It's a very short song, but enough to play around with. All right. And this entire time we've been on grid mode, and we have our grid showing at 1 bar, and that's fine. So let's go ahead and just move this entire clips just by selecting them, holding shift, and choose edit, cut. Let's zoom out, and let's just put them off somewhere. Make sure you click and drag from the bottom of the beat, which is the line right there, and then choose edit, paste. There it is. So we have this on reserve way at the end of the session, And here on the song structure is where we're going to decide, okay, what's going to be on the intro, what's going to be on the verse. So for one thing, on the intro, I might not have the whole beat in. I might just have the main melody, which is going to be this track. So we'll select that, choose Command C to copy, hit return. So it's going to go to bar 1 and choose Command V to paste. Okay, and I also want to have maybe the hi-hat. So select that, copy, return, paste. And one more thing. Let's do the mini mode. Copy, return to 1, and paste. So let's hear that back with just our intro. Okay, that's good enough. Now let's copy all this information into verse 1. Now because this is a perfect 8-bar clip, I can hold shift and hit semicolon on my computer keyboard, and it's going to select the clip below at that same selection length. So with all these selected, I'm going to hit Command C for copy. I'm going to respect that I choose from kick to the last track, click and drag, and now choose paste. All right, let's zoom in and play this back from the intro into verse 1. Okay, good. And at this point, really, you can just do the same thing. Hold Shift, semicolon to select them all, and use the computer keyboard Command or Control on a PC and the letter D as in duplicate, and it's going to duplicate that. Let's zoom out, duplicate all the way to the end. Good. Now, if we hit play, the song's not going to change, it's not going to move, there's going to be no dynamics, nothing's coming in and out, everything's just playing all at the same time, and we don't want that. That's not really a song, that's a beat. So what we have to decide is, okay, how are we going to distinguish verse 1 from the chorus? Well, one thing that draws my attention when I listen to this is this melody right here. Let's solo it. And that melody makes me think like, okay, maybe that's the main melody of the song. So I don't want to hear that on the verse because either somebody's going to be singing or rapping. Now, instead of deleting that, I can easily delete that. But let me undo. You can also mute the clip. And you can do that by pressing Command M or Control M on a PC. And it's going to turn it gray. I'm going to stretch this out so you can see it. So now let me play it back before the verse and through the verse. Okay, that's good. So that's the first step. What I also want to do is I want the verse to build up over time. So maybe the first 4 bars, I might eliminate one of these instruments. And here it's just really using creativity and figuring out what works best for the song. So what I hear is that this mini mode can be eliminated from the first half, and then it can come in on the second half. So to make a cut on this selection, I'm going to use the letter B as in boy, and it created 2 separate clips, one on the left and one on the right. And I can tell by the length here that the first one is 4 bars, and the next one is 4 bars. So I'm going to mute this first one, again using Command M or Control M on a PC. And now let's play that back from the intro into the verse. Okay, good. So you have some kind of form structure. Another common thing is to drop out all the music except for the snare at the very last beat of the verse. So first of all, let's just zoom in. And we're going to do that right here between bar 12 and bar 13. Now, because our grid selection here is set to 1 bar, this is too large of a selection to make. Let me show you what that would sound like if we just delete this. Yeah, that's just too much of a gap. So I'm going to undo that. And let's change this to 8th notes. Okay. And you can see the transparent lines there. So when this last snare hits, I want to eliminate all these other clips. So I'm going to make the selection, hit the letter B. So it cuts them. And now Command M to mute. Now let's play this back. We can even at this point decide to drop off all the instruments at the downbeat before the snare. So now since this muted cut is already made, I can just click and drag to the left, and now I'm going to have more of a half a bar versus 8th note break right there. So let me play this back for you. So that's one way that you can create a small gap before next section of the song. So let's zoom out. Let's change this grid back into 1 bar. Using our keyboard shortcut Control Option Command down arrow, we're going to see all the tracks into the view. And here we have verse, we have chorus, and we have the verse again. Now usually verse 2 is a variation of verse 1, but not completely. And we can decide to make that as a creative decision. What we're going to do is we're going to make a selection from verse 1. Just go ahead and click that, and it's going to be 8 bars. And choose Shift, semicolon, and now copy. Go to verse 2, Shift, semicolon, and then paste. So that's a good starting point. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. But on verse 2, we'll bring in this sound, which we muted, and we'll probably make a break right here. So the first part of the first 4 bars of verse 2 will drop out the hi-hat. So let's mute that. And now let's play it from the chorus into verse 2. Now that we have our verse, chorus, let's go to the end of the song and create an outro. Click and select all these, and let's just mute them. Let's zoom in and figure out what instruments are going to play at the end. Well, it's probably going to be the beat, the hi-hat, and the bass. So let's eliminate this second half. At this point, we'll erase it because that's going to be the end of our song. We'll hit delete. We'll zoom in. And then let's finish our beat strong on this last kick. So after this kick, nothing else is going to come through. And to be able to do that, I'm going to switch this back to 8th notes and delete the hi-hat and the snare. And so by using markers, duplicating clips, and muting clips, we were able to easily take a beat and arrange it into a song.